Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Anaheim Job Wali and I am thrilled to be here today and I am from Karachi, Pakistan. We have a very special guest with us today, someone who is truly remarkable in her field. Her name is Karin and we are honored to have her here. We are going to dive into her incredible life journey and learn more about her experiences. So now let's talk about how I can make this interview a great experience for her. So welcome ma'am, how are you?
Oh, thank you. Hi, Manahil. I'm really well today. Thank you very much for having me on your interview program. And I really appreciate the work you are doing in Pakistan, trying to help everybody get a job. That's fabulous.
Thank you so much ma'am. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. So first of all, please introduce yourself for my viewers.
Okay. My name is Karen Wilson. I'm an author of the Ignite Forgiveness book, which you see in the background. And this is a theme book on forgiveness. So it's personal growth. And I'm also a training facilitator for the Infinity Life program, which is a program on personal growth. And you can reach that program on the internet. We have a new website we just launched, and the address is the Infinity Life USA.com. And that address is USA, but we are global.
All right, great introduction. Thank you so much for your introduction. So now let's move on to questions. My first question is on your screen. My first question is about remote work. How has your experience been working remotely as a trainer at the Infinity Life USA, and what challenges or advantages have you encountered in this remote work setup?
Well, it's actually really better to have a remote work setup because I can connect with everyone anywhere in the world. And we have had trainees from different countries, and that has worked really well because we can arrange a time that's mutually convenient and then we can work together. So being remote really has advantages. I can connect with a lot more people in a lot less time. I don't have to drive anywhere, and the remote access is always available.
All right, ma'am, great answer. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. So my next question is, could you describe how technology and remote communication tools have played a role in your roles as a trainer, the Infinity Life's personal development program?
Well, when this program first became live and came into being, we were in the middle of COVID. So the founders of the program created this program remotely so that we could still have the program and it would still be available to anybody who wanted to have personal growth and help with their issues. So we had to use technology, we had to use the internet, and luckily we did have the Zoom app and we were able to connect in groups and have trainings, private sessions, group trainings, and so forth, just having the Zoom. So there would have not been any way to do that with people around the world except remotely. And it was really a blessing because some of the people are who are now graduates were in different countries: England, Italy, Slovakia, Germany, a lot of different countries, and Canada. And they were all able to meet each other and have private sessions, practice sessions on the program. And they were able to do that on Zoom because some of them were, like I had private sessions with each person in every country. And I just had to figure out the best time with them. So I was able to do that. And there's no way I could have done it without technology and having the remote access available to me.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. So, my next question is, what strategies or tips do you have for maintaining effects, communication, and connection with participants in the Infinity Life program when working remotely?
We have a Telegram channel, and we have a private chat for the Infinity Life on that channel, and it's safe and secure because it's Telegram. And anytime we want to communicate, we use that channel, that private chat, to communicate with the people who are in the training course and the trainers. And everyone who signs up for the Infinity Life is given access to that private channel and that private chat. And that way they can arrange meetings between themselves for practices. They can connect with the trainers, the facilitators, to ask questions, to ask for help or a private session. And we use that Telegram chat pretty much exclusively to connect with each other. And um, a lot of times we have question and answers, and we can do that right on Telegram because there is video and there's also a phone call option. So we can do everything on Telegram, but Zoom is better for sharing materials with a group. We do have training materials, and sometimes when we do a Q&A, we want to share from the training materials. So we do use Zoom for those Q&A meetings, but pretty exclusively we use Telegram to communicate amongst each other and the cohorts of trainees.
All right, great, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. So now let's move on to next question. My next question is, what does the remote of nature your work at the Infinity Life USA align with the organization mission of helping individuals overcome past trauma and become trained facilitators?
Well, because of the fact that we are global, we need to have everything done remotely. And with the Infinity Life, we have a personal growth program, which entails helping people with their mental struggles, stress, emotional issues. We call them core wounds. And these core wounds usually happen to a person when they're very young. And it's usually a traumatic experience that leaves a mark on the person. And it leaves a mark energetically as well as emotionally. And the person then carries that with them and their behavior changes. And so usually they are not functioning from their highest self, from their best self, from just who they are. Sometimes they create behaviors that are not actually beneficial, and they attract more people that are negative in their life or situations or job experiences. And so, with this program, we help them to identify what was the traumatic experience, what is the core wound that they had experience of when they were young. And then once we identify that for them, then we teach them the process of how to start to release it. Because releasing the core wound actually raises a person's energetic frequency. Now, I don't know if you know anything about energetic frequencies, but everybody has one. And Dr. David Hawkins wrote a book called Power versus Force. And during that book, he explained how everything is measurable. The energies of your emotions are measurable. And there's a scale from 1 to 1,000. And if you're in a negative energy, if you're upset, angry, depressed, disappointed, frustrated, those all have a frequency and they're measurable. Just the same as if you have a happy heart, you have love in your heart, you're relaxed and calm and open, those also are measurable emotions. So, what we do is we help the trainee to learn how to release the negative emotions and replace them with the positive ones. And we use the chart David Hawkins invented to measure where is the trainee at this moment. And they can measure themselves. They learn how to do that. And then they can monitor their progress to see if they are staying in that high frequency and if they are releasing the lower frequencies, the negative ones. And by doing that, they actually get happier. They start to feel better about themselves, who they are, the fact that they really have worth as a person, they have value to themselves and others. And they also start to attract people that are more improved, higher frequency people, jobs, situations, experiences, opportunities. All of this comes with raising the frequency. And it's even though it's a remote process, they do feel the energies. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can feel it, and they have a personal growth experience, and then they do the practice every day. And as they continue to do that, it becomes a habit. And once something becomes a habit and it becomes ingrained in you as a person, you're going to do it all the time. And that's where you're going to focus from, this new place, this new higher frequency level. And that's basically really easily done with a remote learning, easily. And all of our trainers are live. All of our facilitators, our training facilitators, are live. And all of the sessions we do are live. There's no video. And whenever we do a session with somebody, we always take them through a process of changing their energy while they're with us. So we help them release negative energies in that process, and we measure their frequency before and after. And they always tell us, wow, I feel differently. I feel lighter. I feel better. And their frequency is always higher. And that's usually amazing for them. But we couldn't do this around the world without this remote capability. It's very important to have that.
All right, ma'am. Amazing answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is, what inspired you to write the book in Ignite Forgiveness, and how has it been received by readers?
Okay. I went through many life changing experiences, and um, most of them were creating emotional trauma for me in my life. And I had to get to a place where I could release that trauma. And I went through many different personal growth programs in order to help myself. And finally, I went through the Infinity Life program, and that was the one that really nailed it. That was the one where I discovered my core wound, and I was able to learn how to release it and really learn to forgive those people in my past that caused me emotional trauma. And most of them were family. And that's a very difficult thing, to forgive people for hurting you emotionally. I don't know if you've ever experienced that yourself, but when you get to that place where you're really wounded, it's very difficult to forgive. But I realized that I needed to do that. When I went through my life, I discovered my spiritual path. And once I discovered my spiritual path, I found my mentor. And one day he was talking to me, and he said to me, Karen, you're dragging a 10-ton boulder behind you. And that was all the emotional baggage. And so I said, he's right. I need to release all of that. And then after I went through the Infinity Life and I was working on releasing my core wounds and so forth, my friend Barbie Layton, who is the co-founder of the Infinity Life, along with Christopher Lemke, she introduced me to a publisher who publishes the Ignite books. And I went ahead and asked to be included in this book, Ignite Forgiveness, and I was accepted. And the Ignite Forgiveness is a theme book on forgiveness because there are 26 authors, and each of us has had an experience in our lives where we had to forgive the people in order to get through it. And so I joined my fellow authors and I went ahead and wrote that chapter. It's a very short chapter, it's an excerpt from my life story, but it's a very powerful story. And I was able to write the chapter, and during the writing I actually started releasing more emotions than I expected, and that helped me also. When you write things, it does help you to release them. And I don't know if you've had that experience with journaling. People are always encouraged to write in their journals what they're feeling, and it helps to release them. So I did that. I wrote that book. It was published in November of last year. It's almost a year ago now, which is amazing. And it went bestseller on Amazon in 9 countries. And I don't remember if India is one of the countries. It might be, but it went bestseller because it's really a resource for people. If you have an issue in your life and you have someone you need to forgive and you have not, because you haven't been able to get to that space yourself, you can read these stories and it will inspire you to forgive them and let go of all that baggage that you're carrying so you can have a better life. And, you know, there's so many stories, so many, everybody has a story, whether they're a published author or they're not. It doesn't matter, but everybody has one. So if everyone that is in need of forgiving someone in their life or some situation, if they want to read that, they can find it on my website. It's www.meetkarenwilson.com. And you have to put the HTTPS colon / first. You don't even have to type the www, just HTTPS colon / meetkarenwilson.com. And there you will find the book. And I will be happy to send it out to whomever orders it. It's $30 and well worth the read. It's very inspiring. Even I felt inspired by all the different stories that I read in the book, and I had already been working with all of those authors and hearing all of their stories as we worked on the book together. But reading them when they're finished is amazing. It makes a huge difference. I sent you my story. Did you have a chance to read it, Monahil? Not yet?
Inshallah, I will read your book.
Well, you're reading my story, just my story. That's a chapter. If you have an interest in reading the book, you know, you can order it and it will come out to you and then you can read it. And it's very inspiring. There's a lot of people on there you could interview.
Sure, I will read your book, and I read your chapter, and inshallah I will make a review.
All right, that's great.
All right. So now let's move on to next question. My next question is here. Could you share a key insight or lesson from your personal journey that has informed your work as a trainer at the Infinity Life USA?
Um, from my journey, the key insight would be, first of all, you have to like yourself. If you don't like yourself and love yourself, you cannot like and love other people. So that starts the journey basically, because then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and discover if you don't like yourself, why not? Everybody is soul. Every person everywhere is soul. Every soul is beautiful and perfect and made in the image of God. So every soul has everything perfect within them. And during life experiences, you learn to adopt attitudes about yourself that are not true. A lot of people think they're unworthy, they're worthless, they have no value. they don't have enough anything to get what they want. They're not good enough. They're not smart enough. They're not pretty enough. They're not thin enough. There's all these values that we place on ourselves because of society that don't belong there, because each person is perfect as soul. So learning to look in the mirror first to discover, why don't I like myself? What is it about me that's bad or wrong or different? And then once you learn that, then you have to start looking at yourself from the other perspective. Wow, I really am a great person. I really have good values. I give love and kindness to other people. I listen, I share, I help others as much as I can. Whatever your skills and abilities are, whatever your personality is, whatever that is, you have to look in the mirror and discover, what is it about you that's wonderful? And then you have to start praising yourself. So you work on your self esteem to build yourself up. And most people don't do that. Most people just ignore that whole area because they're afraid. They're afraid to see what the problem is. And they're afraid to acknowledge that really they aren't that person that they think. They are actually better. And that's one thing that I had to learn, is to love myself and to give myself praise as a person, because all my life I was told I wasn't worthy. My father was a brilliant man, but he didn't understand children. And he would say to me, if I couldn't learn his mathematics immediately when I was 5 years old, and he's trying to teach me algebra and I can't even understand simple math, I can barely understand simple math because I'm not a mathematics person. He would say to me, don't be a moron. A moron is a very insulting word because a moron has no brains. A moron has no intellect whatsoever. And in fact, I do have a good intellect, I do have a good mind, but I'm just not really great at math. And he was. So, from then on, I learned that if I wasn't great at math, I wasn't worth his time or his love. I didn't have value to him. And, throughout my job history, a lot of people weren't very nice to me because I'm this bright, shiny person and I don't have the same negative values they do. I don't fit in with them. And so they want me to fit in. And so they make negative comments to make me come down to their level. But I never did that because that's not who I am. I refuse to do that. I'm a bright, shiny person and I want to shine my light and help others. So, throughout my life, I've always been given negative input from other people around me who could not handle my upbeat personality and my shining light. And so I had to learn, my shining light is important. It's important to me and it's important to other people, because there have been many people in my life that have valued that. The people, the negative ones, they didn't, but the positive ones, they did. So I realized I have a place, I do belong, but it's not with the negative people. It's with the positive ones who really have that joy of life and want to help others and share it with others.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable answer. So now let's move on to next question. My next question is, in what do you see remote potentially expanding the reach of the Infinity Life program, especially considering that it can be accessed by individuals outside of the USA?
Well, the Infinity Life training program is always done remotely. And so the Infinity Life training program is available to everyone everywhere, whoever has the internet. And whoever can log on and find it, they can have that training. So the remote access is very important. And as people start to look at the Infinity Life website, the new website, and they start to sign up for the program, then after they sign up and they are happy and they feel the effects of it and the positive effects are very definitely felt, then they start talking to people about, hey, I just got in this program and it's making a difference for me. Maybe you want to check it out. And then all of a sudden they have people that they know that are starting to look at it. And then maybe they end up creating a whole group of people in their country that start to become trainers, facilitators for this training, and they start to have those groups in their country. So it will spread across the world. And that's what the co founders of the Infinity Life are hoping for. They're hoping that it will create a worldwide movement of people training to release their negativity, uplift their own frequencies. And then as they do that, they start to put out frequencies that are more positive around everyone that they are around. And I don't know if you know this, Manahil, but there were some experiments done by the author of Power versus Force, Dr. David Hawkins. He went around the world to different countries and different cities, and he measured the frequencies of the cities. And he discovered that the average frequency of people around the world is about 200 on the scale of 1 to 1,000. And then what he did, and I've read this more than once, he may have done it, but there are other people that may have also done it. They would bring an Indian yogi into a city where they had a lot of crime and very low frequency, and they would ask the yogi to meditate for 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. And then they would measure the frequencies of the city around them to see what happened. And they always discovered that the frequencies of the people went up and the crime rates dropped. And it was significant, like 30% crime rate drop, just from one person meditating and putting out love into the universe in that one city. And they discovered that that one person, any one person who does that, can affect 750,000 people around them. Now, that's a city. That's a lot of people. So the founders, the co-founders of our training program, the Infinity Life, their hope is that each person that graduates has the higher frequency, is then putting it out around them, and then they become facilitators for the program, and they teach more people, and more people are also having the higher frequency and putting that frequency out around them, and that will spread around the world and raise the frequency on the planet.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. And I want to express my deep gratitude to uh, for sharing your inspiring journey and insight with us today. Your work as an author and trainer at the Infinity Life USA serves as a beacon of hope for those seeking healing and personal growth. The message of forgiveness as the doorway to becoming whole and knowing one is enough is a powerful reminder that we all possess the strength and resilience to overcome these challenges. If you are interested in learning more about the Infinity Life USA and their life changing program, please visit her website. Thank you for your time, for impacting your wisdom. We look forward to following your continued success and the positive impact you are making the field of others. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Manuhil. I really appreciate your time today. And I really feel like you are doing beautiful work on the planet to help others. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, because of my school is very wonderful, so I can make change my country, change my world. Thank you so much.
Yes, you are very welcome. And thank you for their time today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Bye. Have a wonderful day ahead.